Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be an update for Pan That Palette, Baby Pan That Palette, Better Together Pan That Palette. Oh my gosh, I'm panning so many things right now, but I'm loving it. I love panning and I do this to myself. I have nobody to blame but myself. I haven't done an update for a while. It's been a couple months, maybe April. So we're definitely due for an update. Let's take this one thing at a time. What should we start with? Let's start with Baby Pan That Palette. Baby Pan That Palette is a project I've been doing for several years now. The rules that I set up for this project are to work on a palette with 5 pans or less. Ironically, my Pan That Palette for the last 2 years has been less than 5 pans as well. So at this point, I really can't imagine putting a 5-pan palette in Baby Pan That Palette, but those are the rules I set up for myself. Currently, what I've been working on are 2 shadows that I created by mixing black eyeshadow with 2 different highlighters. One was with a purpley highlighter from the ABH Moonstone palette, and one was Becca's Opal, which was a little single that I had, a little like deluxe sample single. And I mixed each of those with a little bit of black eyeshadow from the Urban Decay Smoked palette, and I came up with these 2 eyeshadows. By finishing these 2 eyeshadows, I will not earn any points towards my low buy update, but I will earn a pan in 2 palettes by finishing these 2 shadows. I'll earn a pan in my Urban Decay Smoked palette, and I'll earn a pan in my ABH Moondust palette. So I am highly motivated to pan these 2 eyeshadows. Now these were never full-size eyeshadows. I just took little chunks, but despite that, these shadows are proving to stick around way more than I imagined, which, why does that surprise me? Everything takes me longer to pan than what I think it will, but that's the story of my life. I don't know if there's much progress from last update till today, but I will go ahead and throw up a picture of where I was at the last update with this little duo right now. And here's where I am currently at with this guy right now. I don't really do comparison photos until I'm editing, so unfortunately, like I said, I have no idea if there's progress or not. I hope so. I have used both the shades several times since the last update. It doesn't look like it necessarily in the pan, but this shade, this is the one that I mixed with Becca's Opal, and that's a pretty close dupe for Urban Decay Smog, which does work as like a 1 shadow eyeshadow. It's a little bit smoky, but I can wear it like all over my entire lid, and it's very wearable. This shade right here is the one that I mixed with ABH Moonstone. I think the shade was Purple Horseshoe, maybe. I could have that wrong, but this is a very like blackened blue shade. It's not nearly as wearable. I really only wear it in like the outer V of my eyelid, and then I put a lighter shade on top of it because this is intense and much deeper than this one. Yeah, I'm so glad to be working on these 2, and I'm looking forward to the day that they're gone. I would absolutely consider frankening more black eyeshadow with other products to get something like this. I feel like this little franken project overall was a huge success for me. I know I don't do a lot of frankening, especially compared to some of the franken superstars out there like Jessica Lee, but I have a lot of black eyeshadow, a scary amount of black eyeshadow. And I think at the end of the day, I'm either going to have to chuck it and throw it in the garbage or franken it. And I think I would definitely do that again in the future, but I would want to finish these 2 first because I just don't want like a ridiculous amount of frankened eyeshadows laying around, because then I just have made a bigger mess in my humble opinion. But I would like to pan those 2, and then I would definitely consider doing something similar in the future with other eyeshadows to see what other combinations. It is kind of fun to do that. I do like frankening. I don't have the time to franken, but I do like it. So it's been a worthwhile project, and I'm glad to be finally tackling those two little guys, even though I'm not using them that consistently. I have way too many eyeshadows to project pan to do anything consistently, and I am the type of person that likes to change things up with my outfits or with my mood. So for me, panning eyeshadows definitely involves a lot of variety, which means not a lot of progress, unfortunately. So, you know, we've been sticking with it for a long time, so I guess it's kind of working. Let's move on to the next product. All right, let's talk about Old Faithful. The Pan That palette theme with the Pantastic Ladies was Old Faithful, and that is an older palette from your collection. At this point, 99% of my eyeshadows would fall into the older palettes of my, it would fall under the category of an old palette. Like, I've been on a low buy for like almost 6 years at this point. So I have had a couple of new palettes come my way over the past 6 years, but the majority of my eyeshadows are at least 6 years old, if not like 20 years old. I mean, I'm pretty sure I have eyeshadow palettes that are almost, or eyeshadows that are 30 years old at this point in my collection. And if they still work, I'm gonna keep them, I'm gonna use them. I don't have a problem with it. But yeah, everything I have is old at this point. So I decided to make this a two-part. Why not pan more eyeshadows? That's what I figured. Let's pan more eyeshadows. So I decided to carry over my palette from last year. I wasn't ready to quit it. I'm a little disappointed that I didn't pan it in 2024 because it's itty bitty super tiny, but I didn't. And so I decided to keep working on it in the hopes of finishing it this year. It's not looking great, but let me throw up a picture of where this was at the last update. And here is where I'm at now with my little Coastal Scents sampler quad. I'm getting a phone call. It's a spam risk. Stop it. It's only 80 degrees outside and I'm already sweating. I think I'm gonna have to turn the air conditioner back on. Yes, this is a little sampler palette of Coastal Scents single eyeshadows. Of course, leave it to me to fall in love with Coastal Scents after the brand has been discontinued. That's the story of my life. Like, a day late and a dollar short. Like, I'm like, oh, this is a great eyeshadow. I should really buy some. Oh, they're not around anymore. They're gone. Yeah, I've had this for like 10 years. I'm finally using it. The brand isn't even around anymore. Story of my life. But here it is right here. This is where we're at now with my little quad. I don't, as far as I understand, and this is a moot point, but as far as I understand, Coastal Scents was not selling these as quads. They were just trying to sell these as single eyeshadows, but they wanted to give us samples. This came in an Ipsy bag. I've used all these shadows quite a bit since the last update. If I was focusing primarily on one set of shadows, I would say this is still my main focus. I try to incorporate at least one of these 4 eyeshadows every day into my eye look, if not multiples, and I'm proud of myself for that, even though the progress is slow. The shadow that I had the most trouble with last year was this matte white shadow right here. It was so white and so matte that I couldn't really find a way to incorporate it. I've just started using it as a brow bone highlight. It's not my favorite brow bone highlight. I do still prefer a brow bone highlight that has a little bit of shimmer to it, but it's working, it's fine, and I'm getting it used up. I haven't hit pan on it yet, but I am getting a bigger dip, and I am using that one just about every day at this point. I do have a few other options for brow bone highlights, but that's the primary one I'm using. I'm hoping that the pan has expanded a little bit on the other 3 shadows, but again, I won't know until I'm editing. The main way that I've used the lighter 2 greens, this one was as an under a lower lash line eyeshadow, and this one was an inner corner highlight. I took a break from both those for quite a while, and I've actually recently gotten back into it because I realized that I just wasn't using those 2 shadows nearly as much, and I needed to bring back the lower lash line eyeshadow to get that used up. So I have gotten back to using it. I was really, and actually today I don't have anything on my lower lash line, but I've really been enjoying no makeup on my lower lash line. But then when I actually realized that I wasn't going to get this shadow panned unless I brought it back as a lower lash line, I've started using it again. And then this one I use a lot in like the outer half of my eyelid. That's the shadow I have on today on the outside of my eyelid. And then I have the a silver Super Shock shadow on the inner half of my eyelid. So yeah, hopefully the pan has expanded at least on one of those three. And I am using the white one. I'm definitely using the white one as a brow bone highlight now. So I don't know if I could finish this by the end of the year though. I'm a little nervous. All right, because I was so confident that that would not be enough eyeshadow for me to project pan in a year, I added in another palette. It's a magnetic palette, which I've also had as a pan that palette in the past. Not all of these eyeshadows, but many of these eyeshadows were in my pan that palette from, what year was it? 2019 maybe? I can't remember. The most exciting thing to happen to this little magnetic palette over the last 2 months is that I dropped it again, which is what I did on the finale of my pan that palette in 2019. I dropped it while I was filming. I just about had a heart attack on camera, and it was all over my wooden floors, and I had to pick it all up and repress a bunch of stuff, and all my progress was gone. I was devastated. And I dropped it again since the last update. So I've made a big, huge mess. Only 3 of the shadows really were damaged, and I think I was able to collect the majority of the product that broke. It was in my bathroom, and the product fell on my bathroom floor. And so I collected each of them and put them in some of the leftover jars that I saved for just this occasion. Here's one shadow right there. Here's another shadow right there. I've used that one once from this jar since dropping it. I didn't touch this purpley one at all since picking it up off the floor. But the main one I've been using is this one right here, which is a beautiful transition shade from Mary Kay. So I have been trying to use this up. It looks like so much product, even though most of it's still in the pan. That is this shadow right here. This is the one that fell and shattered. And then this one, and then this one, of course, is the third one. So rather than repressing those 3 shadows, I'm just trying to use them in those jars as loose shadows at this point. I'm just so disgusted with myself. Like, what am I doing? Why am I dropping things? What is wrong with me? Those are the thoughts going through my head. Am I project panning too much? Maybe. Aside from that debacle though, the main shadow that I've been working on is the purple from my Viseart Petite Pro 2 palette, and I use that quite a bit. I did find a lighter purple eyeshadow that I put into another project to use as like a crease shade, and I've been loving those two together. That's really been working for me. I have not just been using this Viseart Petite Pro 2 shadow with that light purple. I've been using a purpley shade that's in my Juvia's Place Nubian 2 palette also. But yeah, that's been working really well. But other than that guy, and then working on this the shattered bits from this Mary Kay shadow, I really haven't done a whole lot with this palette since the last update, which is unfortunate. One of these days, I'm going to learn my lesson that less is more when it comes to project panning eyeshadows, and that I cannot pan as many eyeshadows as I'd like to. Like I said, I like a lot of variety, and it makes me excited to see these guys looking at me in the bathroom when I'm getting ready in the morning. I see them on the counter, they're eyeing me, I'm eyeing them. Maybe they'll get chosen for the day. They probably won't, but it makes me very happy and excited. As if that wasn't enough, we still have one more palette to talk about. Nope, Pan That Palette update is not done yet. There's still one more. That is my Better Together Pan That palette. This is another palette that I've been working on for many years. Is this the 3rd year? I think this is the 3rd year I've been working on this palette. It is my e.l.f. 100 pan palette. This was a gift with purchase. It is literally worth $0 in my collection because that's how much I paid for it. But I am very attached to this little guy nonetheless, and I can't quit it. So let me throw up a picture of what this looked like at the last update. And this is what it looks like today. So I believe I had set 2 goals for myself at the last update. One was to hit pan on this shade right here, which I accomplished. This is the shadow that I was using as my brow bone highlight. I kind of stopped to give my little Coastal Suns shadow a little bit more focus and attention, but I did hit pan on this first. I think my other goal was to hit pan on this shadow right here, which I did not accomplish. Unfortunately, I've kind of gotten away from that. Right as the time as I was like, yes, I'm using this all the time, I want to hit pan on it, then I just stopped randomly using that. So that is strange behavior, but I did not hit pan on that. Unfortunately, I did give this shadow right here quite a bit of attention since the last update, and I believe I've expanded pan on that one quite a bit. And then I have to give credit where credit is due. Little Miss Hazel's been helping me out with this palette also. She knows at this point that she can play with this palette all she wants. She doesn't need to ask permission. If she wants to wear eyeshadow, she can. She's pretty responsible. Like I don't know why, but the main place she wants to put eyeshadow on is when she has a softball game, which seems very random and specific. But like for her, she loves softball. She's been a softball player for many years now, and she loves putting her under eye. I forget what it's called. The black eye. Those paint sticks that they wear. She's got a whole set of those. So she like. These girls, they're all 9 and 10-year-olds. They're freaking adorable. They paint their whole face up with the paint sticks. And then she likes to wear eyeshadow. And our team colors were like, our team colors were technically gray and blue, but the gray was a very greeny gray. So she keeps going for this green right here. Do you see all that fallout surrounding that shadow? That is from Miss Hazel right there. I'm tempted to wear some green just to clean up all that fallout because it's driving me a little bit crazy. And then this blue on top of the blue that I hit pan on seems to be her other go-to shadow. That's fine with me. I mean, if I was to keep panning this palette for many years to come, I could see those 2 shadows being like the last man standing in this palette. So she's more than welcome to use those 2 shadows as much as she wants. Of course, her softball season is done now, so I haven't been catching her wearing eyeshadow much lately, but it's the strangest thing when, to her, like she's got to get ready for her softball games, and that involves makeup, perfume. She wears perfume to her softball games. Hey, I mean, as a kid, when I was thinking about sports, I wasn't thinking about getting dolled up, but this is a new generation, and you know, she's my little project panning partner, so that's what Hazel's been up to with this palette, but no pan hit yet. I'm a little disappointed. That's not her usual track record. I am so close to hitting pan on, or not hitting pan, to completely finishing this shade. It's, I just gotta do it. Just gotta make it happen. Let's talk about goals for next. I don't really have any goals set for anything else. Do I? No. Let's set some goals. Let's set some goals for the next update, which could be anywhere between 1 and 4 months from today, depending on how my life goes. Since I have this palette out, let's start with this. All right, I'm gonna be ambitious. I'm going to be ambitious. I'm gonna say for the next update, I would like to have pan on this pink shadow, and I would like to have this pan completely used up. I'm not gonna put any goals on the brow bone highlight because I don't wanna focus on these brow bone highlights, but I'd also like to try and use up a little bit more of this shadow right here. It seems to go very quickly. I don't know why some of the shadows in this palette pan faster than other shadows. Okay, I think that's enough for goals for this guy. So I wanna hit pan on the pink. I want to finish this, and I want to use up more of this. I don't think I can use up all of it, but maybe like one more corner, clear out another corner kind of a goal. And then as far as this mess goes, shaking my head at myself, the main goal that I've set, would like to set, is regarding that Mary Kay shadow that crumbled. Like I said, this is a very small amount of product, but it looks like so much. I see me inside of that mirror. It's freaking me out. And it's hard to measure, but I'd like to try and use up about half. Like, I'll take a picture of where we're at with this, and I'll try to use up about half of the product. It makes a really nice, you know, transition shade. So it's very wearable with a lot of different eye looks, but yeah, I'd like to use up half of that. I don't think I'm gonna set any specific goal on this guy for this update, but I guess I would like to try and make some goals happen on my little Coastal Scent Squad. The first of which being to finally hit pan in the matte white, and then to hit side pan in the matte aqua shade. And then just expand the pans in the other two. That seems like a lot of goals, but go big or go home. That's what I say. That is it for this update, you guys. It's a lot. I know it's a lot. You guys are all gonna tell me it's a lot. I know. But I am having fun. We're already past the halfway point in the year, so I think it's safe to say that I'm a little bit up a creek without a paddle, but I'm having fun, and I'm enjoying project panning very much. So that is it for this update. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. This channel would not be here if it were not for you. So I'm really grateful for your support and your patience with my crazy uploading schedule and my inconsistencies, but I appreciate you. And I will see you in the next one. Bye. Hi guys, it's Paula. I feel like my butt's crooked. I feel like my camera's crooked. The heck. Hello.
Hi.
Hi, how was workout?
I'm fine. Good.
Good. I'm filming a video, so that's why I'm talking to myself.
Hey, hold on. Let me give a message to YouTube.
What's your message to YouTube?
Like and subscribe,
Oh,
or there will be a spider in your bed tonight.
oh, there'll be a spider in your bed tonight. Thanks, Ron. Appreciate it. Threaten my viewers. Always a help, you bully. You just threatened to put spiders in their bed.